Hello, are you here to debate?
I would like to, sure.
All right. What's your name, age, and pronouns, please?
My name is Jared. My age is 33. I will tell you my pronouns, but I want to let you know that I think this is a silly ceremony because pronouns are what you talk about people behind their back, and you letting me choose my pronouns is very diplomatic of you, but I think it's really silly because ultimately you're going to talk about me the way you choose to when third person is a thing. But sure, he, him is what I would prefer to be referred to if you have to talk about me.
I just felt like that was a whole lot for a whole little. What topic on the board did you want to debate about?
I felt most passionately about the issue of you claiming that only one religion's God is evil. And I thought that was interesting, and I'd love to talk to you about that.
I don't believe only one religion's God is evil. I just vehemently believe the Christian God is.
Okay. Well,
I don't know enough about other religions to make that claim.
Christian God is evil, then it seems like for a person who doesn't know you, I just pop on a stream and it says Christian God is evil. It doesn't say religious gods are evil. It just says Christian God is evil. So that's why I thought that. So
I just know more about Christianity than other religions. So
okay, yeah. So can we just center in on that for a second? Is the Christian God the only evil God worth discussing, or is it the only evil God that you are even interested in discussing? Can you just clarify that?
Any God that claims to be all good but also claims to be all powerful would be an evil God.
Okay. May I ask why claiming to be powerful makes you evil?
Because an all good God that is all powerful could do away with suffering. But because God does not do away with suffering, he cannot be all good.
Okay. All right. I think that is worth honing in on. The fact that God could put you in heaven right now, but didn't, makes him evil.
I'm not talking about putting you in heaven. We could still exist on this planet, but he allows for unnecessary suffering. So you cannot be all good and allow for unnecessary suffering.
I completely understand why you're using the words you're using. But is God evil because he gave us free will, or are we evil for taking advantage of it? Is God evil?
Suffering and free will aren't tied together.
I mean, I do agree that things that God has done, such as you don't choose how long you live, you don't really choose how difficult your life is. I mean, we can sit there and debate that. I really don't want to. A lot of people don't get to choose how difficult their life is. Obviously, we contribute to it at some degree, but you know what I mean. Anyways, but I don't think those things in themselves are evil. They are the natural consequences of the non-heavenly world we've been given. We live in a world.
Yes, but God is all powerful, correct?
God is as powerful as he decides to be. The Bible also says that.
Well, we're not talking about the Bible, right? We're talking about just. Well, we weren't talking about the Bible. We're talking about any religious God, any deity that would claim to be all powerful. Can we talk
about God and not talk about the Bible? I just want to clarify if that's even possible.
Yeah, there are other gods.
Okay, sorry. Can we talk about the Christian God without talking about the Bible?
We're not talking about the Christian God. You had me clarify, and in a clarifying statement, I said any God that claims to be all powerful and all good would be an evil deity. It would be evil.
Okay, that's true. You did say that.
If you want to just talk about the Christian God, then I have way different arguments.
I didn't say that. Yeah, that's fair. I didn't say that. I honestly, I'm really not sure how many gods claim to be powerful and good. So that's why my brain kind of immediately started honing in on Christianity. That's not your fault or your problem. That's what happened. So do you know of any other gods? Not a big deal, not really that important. But do you know of any other gods that claim to be good and powerful, all good and all powerful at the same time?
Not off the top of my head.
I can't either. It doesn't matter. I disagree on the stance of you gave everyone free will, and God himself isn't raping, stabbing, murdering people, right? And sure, Christians do these things, but they're not God.
That's not the only level of suffering, though. Right?
That's
like,
true.
why did God create a
Okay.
universe? If God is all powerful, why did he create a universe in which babies can get cancer? This seems like an unnecessary level of suffering that exists in this universe, that if he's all powerful, he can just do away with this. He could have just designed humans in a way to which cancer doesn't affect babies.
I want to share an idea. I want to give you the closest thing I can give to an answer for that. I'm not going to sit here and say I have the answer. I'm going to claim that I can give you the closest thing possible. God does not want his existence to be proven. That's a hot take. If you want to dive into it, we can. Now that I've said that I believe that at least the Christian God does not want to be proven, okay? Because anyone can follow science, and God isn't here for people who want proof. The Bible literally claims to follow by faith, meaning blindly, meaning, yes, I want you to believe in me, even when you can't possibly know it's true. That's the whole point. That's his point.
I would just say that this God is selfish. He's selfish. And a God that puts his needs over that of the creatures
isn't evil, though.
No, but it's not. He's not all good. He put his need. First of all, selfish can be evil if you're all powerful. If you're all powerful and you choose to benefit yourself over the billions of creatures that you created, I would say that is evil.
Mm-hmm. The reason that I even brought up he doesn't want to be scientifically known, the reason I brought that up is that creates a world where a child can contract a life-ending disease. See, I understand that it is when you don't believe in God and you only have this existence in front of you, and then this God that you're not sure you want to believe in allows babies to get life-ending diseases. Yes, from that perspective, absolutely. If you think this is the only ride you're going to get at the amusement park, then you're not going to feel like it's fair that your kids or someone else's or even you could have died to cancer. The reason I'm bringing this up is because in my mind, God lets babies get cancer so that there isn't some kind of angelic proof every day that God exists.
Okay,
that's
so
not the point.
Wait, but this is you're making my point for me. You're I don't even need to put it in an argument. You're saying God allows babies to suffer from cancer, which is a horrible thing to suffer from when you're an adult, and even worse when you're a baby, because he doesn't want people to know he exists.
You just made a scientific truth claim. How do you know it's worse for them?
How do I know that cancer is worse when you're a baby? Because you don't have an immune system that's able to fight it off the way adults do. I've never been a baby?
You're making a truth claim that you can't back up with science. You know you can't.
Do you want to bet?
It's worse for babies. I know that. I'm not saying never, but you're saying always. And
yes, cancer is worse when you're a baby because your body doesn't have the strength to fight it off in the same way adult bodies do.
Okay, can you please expound on that? How does the human body make cancer more comfortable than a baby?
What? More comfortable?
How does the adult body make cancer less sufferable than a baby's body? Please explain the scientific mechanism.
What's the survival rate of cancer in babies versus the survival rate of cancer in adults?
I do not know the answer, and as far as I'm concerned, they could be very similar. I don't know.
They're not. Babies have a
Okay.
lower survival rate than adults do.
But survivable doesn't mean suffering. Surviving does not equal more suffering. It means more likelihood to die. Can you pull up some kind of scientific proof that claims they're actually withstanding even more discomfort or something like that? I mean, what you're saying is reasonable, but it's not exactly proven or known.
Sure. Let's let's go through a couple of scientific things for you. I think this is just sort of a pivot, but fine.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I've never looked into the
treatments
I
affect
have 5
babies.
kids, and
Babies are more
cancer.
sensitive to treatment side effects. So things like chemotherapy,
Well,
where you have side
you
effects
didn't
such
say
as
that earlier. You didn't say that earlier. You said the cancer, not the treatment. So please, let's not
there's no way.
change topic here.
There's no way. This isn't a topic change. When you say when I say suffering from cancer, that would entail everything surrounding the cancer, treatment as well. If somebody has chemotherapy, if somebody has chemotherapy, it's not a slippery slope at all. There's no way you can demonstrate a slope here.
Would you care to let me finish my thought?
Go ahead, demonstrate the slope.
2,000 years ago, how did people suffer from cancer? 1,000 years ago, how did people suffer from cancer?
This is not
200 years ago, how did people suffer from cancer? Oh, wait, if we're going to talk about the treatment that changed in the last, 70 years?
This isn't demonstrating the slope. You did not demonstrate the slope.
Yes, I did, because
no, you didn't.
You're talking about, you're combining the suffering of the treatment with the suffering of the cancer.
Yes, because it's still,
100 years ago, people weren't doing chemotherapy.
Doesn't matter.
So the suffering has literally changed.
Doesn't matter if the suffering has changed. It doesn't matter if the suffering has changed. It's still suffering.
So you want a God to create a world, and you want him to keep updating his suffering prevention. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Nice. So
God exists. If God is all powerful, then that would mean that God is all knowing and all seeing, which would mean he doesn't need to update anything because he knows what will happen. He could have made the universe in such a way that babies never get cancer, period. He doesn't have to update anything because he knows what will happen.
Yeah. Listen, I understand. What you're saying is that because babies can have the same unfortunate results out of life as an adult can, that's your basis for the Christian God is evil.
No, I'm saying that an all good God, that would prioritize his wants over the suffering of millions of creatures that he created is an evil God.
What is the potential? Sorry. What is the likelihood that you die without suffering? Is it more likely that Jovan will die without suffering, or is it more likely that his death will cause some kind of suffering?
What's the relevance?
The relevance is that maybe you don't die of cancer. Maybe you made a mistake and drove yourself off a bridge and smashed your face through a car. That was suffering. Was that God's fault because you decided to do this and drive? Not saying you're going to, just if. A lot of people get hurt because they're suffering.
Can you do me a favor? Can you contend with my premise and not move on to a different premise? Contend with the argument I'm laying in front of you. If God is all powerful and all good, why would he prioritize his needs over the millions of babies who have unnecessarily suffered from cancer?
How could a God be good for letting babies die? For letting babies die, for letting babies suffer.
An all-powerful God could literally snap his fingers and babies couldn't get cancer. He could literally do this. No more cancer.
You are currently trying to get me to admit that there's an ethical way to let babies suffer. I'm a human being.
Nope, it's not
I
what I'm
don't
doing.
have the ability to formulate.
It's not
a
what I'm
sentence
doing, and
for you.
I'm gonna have to stop you, and I'm gonna have to reiterate my premise here, because I don't think you understand my premise.
But you're
If
putting me in a box. You're putting
I'm
me in a
not,
box where you're creating a question that can only realistically answer in a way that makes me look dumb, or
Nope.
supports at least at first, what you're conveying. I'm not
Nope.
saying that it's ethical or something to kill babies. What I claimed was that the only reason God allows babies to, in some way, looks evil, is so that there isn't just this obvious proof that God exists. So you should obviously
If God
follow him.
had created a universe in which babies can't get cancer, it is just a fundamental law of the universe that babies' bodies
But
just cannot contract cancer. That does not mean that we would instantly all believe in God. That just means we would say there's something in the body of babies that cancer doesn't affect. So this premise that this would be to disguise that he exists just
yeah.
doesn't work. It doesn't work in any like functional setting. But
Yeah, I
again,
guess you're right. It is kind of silly for me to sit here and say that there's anything that even could prove God. I mean, for example, a dude who was blind stabbed Jesus, and then the next day he could see. And what do they do to punish him? They rip his eyes out. So you're right. Ultimately, something proving God is real is probably not possible. It's probably not possible. God probably left room in our heart for doubt, no matter what. So, yeah, you're probably ultimately right about the human doubt and us being invulnerable to, like, the God is real. You know, James Webb's telescope may have just discovered a galaxy of nothing but healthy yellow stars. We have no idea how to explain that. But no, that couldn't possibly be an angel or a god or something. It's just got to,
you're just
science and religion
doing
are
God
not
of the
in alignment.
gaps. You're just doing a God of the gaps argument, which is just not it's
The
not an
God of
argument.
the gap.
Yes. God of the gaps is we don't have the ability to scientifically say what this is, so it must be God. It's just sort of lazy theology, in my opinion.
But we used to do that. We actually do the opposite of
Yes,
that
that's what I
nowadays.
think most Christianity, most of the Bible is we didn't
Mhm.
know what this thing was. So most religion is we didn't know how to
Absolutely.
explain this thing
Absolutely.
scientifically. So we created a
Most
being that
theology
did
is
all of
just
it.
a lack of information. Absolutely. That's completely fair. We used to think God controlled the weather, and now we understand clouds, and we no longer think that. When in reality, there's nothing that prevents God from controlling the weather, just because we understand the science of it. Like, that's the fun part about being a human, is if we can figure it out, then it must not be very godly. Like, for example, the whole Big Bang and God couldn't happen at the same time. I never really understood why people felt that way. Why couldn't have God just made a big bang? Why is it that science and religion are so unaligned right now? I don't know. I think that's interesting. I can't
You
answer
could
that. I'm not here
make,
to
if
debate that.
somebody makes an argument and they go, I think that God just set up the parameters for the Big Bang and then he let the universe operate in its own vicinity. He doesn't have ultimate power to do anything. All he could do was start the spark. Then that's not a God I would argue is evil, because that's not a God that can do anything. But if the argument is God is all powerful, he can create the universe and do anything, and he is also all good, I reject this, because an all good being that allows for unnecessary suffering is not an all good being. And then we can take it a step further if we're talking specifically about Christianity and say that an all
Yeah.
good being wouldn't genocide a whole group of people just because they don't believe in him.
But that is really just Jovan's thought process, Patreons. For example, there is a governing body over the globe that gets the final say on the genocide or not, and they've spoken, and yet people aren't gathering in droves going, "Oh, it's official! It's official! They said it. They said Israel is committing a genocide. So even though a governing body, the globe has said that these guys have the final say, even though they have the final say, there's so much gap in them and us that there's still so many of us that A, don't know it, and B, don't even believe them. So my point to that is God's not evil because of your ruler. Your ruler is 100 years between this time and this time. If God did what he did, it's God's evil because he kills people. Why? Because he told you you can't kill people? God's evil because you don't get to play by his rules? Do you want to live in a world where
Just
answer
me this question. Answer me this question. Is it evil to viciously murder and slaughter an entire group of people, kill pregnant women, rip the babies out of pregnant women's stomachs, burn down their homes? Is that evil to do?
Rip babies out of people's stomachs.
Yep.
Is that evil to do? I would want to know what the woman did. Just because she has a baby ripped out of her stomach.
Is there anything that someone can do to justify killing them and ripping their unborn fetus out of their womb? What justifies that?
I want to answer your question with a tribe called the Canaanites. Did you hear about them? Did you hear about them building baby ovens? If one human themselves have sacrificed more than a couple babies, is it okay to rip a baby out of their stomach?
No.
Maybe they're going to sacrifice that baby.
They're going to sacrifice this baby. So in order to save the baby from the sacrifice, let's kill the baby. That makes sense in what universe?
Well, if you're a god and you create people, and then you say, hey, you're not allowed to sacrifice babies, and then you sacrifice babies to such an extent that God wants your neighbors to wipe you out. Now, before we go on with this, not everyone's a Canaanite, right? And not every baby who's died of cancer is a Canaanite. I understand that this isn't going to completely unravel everything. What I'm saying is that God gave us free will, and people enact it. People enacting his free will doesn't make him evil. And when he wipes, those past tenses where he's killed everyone, they were going to die. And don't forget that. You claim that that's evil that he killed them. But he gave them life that was going to end, and we all agree on that. So is the fact that your life going to end inherently evil? The fact that you're going to die, whether you suffer when you die or whether you die old, happy, and fat, dying sucks. Either way, is dying what makes God evil, or is it just a few seconds or a few days or a few months?
Why didn't God just make a universe in which we can't die?
Because it's called heaven, and you're supposed to earn it.
Why do we have to earn it?
You're here to show God.
Why do we have to earn it?
Souls, because otherwise you'd be an angel. If you were
Why didn't he just make us all angels?
God gave angels free will, and then they betrayed him.
No, he didn't.
And so what?
No, he didn't.
Some of them did, yeah.
No, he did not give angels free will.
Oh, how did Satan lie to him? How did Lucifer lie to him?
He set up the rules in which Lucifer would lie to him. He wanted Lucifer to lie to him.
I was listening to your podcast before I called you. You claim to be really knowledgeable about the gospel, but
bro,
you're telling me that
hold on. Stop. Can God see the future? Can he see all of time at any time?
There is no yes or no for that. God.
Yes, there is. There's a yes or no. God exists outside. Oh my fucking God, dude.
The Christian Jared
you have a kindergarten's level of theology, and it's so frustrating. God is a being that would exist outside of time. He's all powerful, thus meaning he's all knowing and all seeing. He sees all and he knows all, which means he can in turn see the future. There did exist a point prior to
There's no
time.
future
Hold
for
on.
him. He
I'm not done
is
talking. There exists a time before the creation of angels. There existed a time before God created angels, which means that in the creation of angels, time moved in a linear fashion because there was a time pre-angel and a time post-angel. That's just how time would work. So doing this, it means there had to have been a moment where God created angels, because there was a moment where angels didn't exist, a moment where they did exist. So knowing that God created angels, knowing that when God does this, he can see all of time, he knew for a fact when he created angels that Lucifer would betray him. Yet he didn't stop and not make Lucifer. So he wanted Lucifer to betray him, because all he had to do, if he didn't want Lucifer to betray him, was not create Lucifer. That's all he had to do. But he didn't.
But
instead, he created Lucifer. Lucifer betrayed him, which he knew was going to happen. He then punished Lucifer for this by sending Lucifer down, 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 stripping him of his wings. He punished Lucifer. God likes to set up unwinnable challenges and then punish people for doing it. It's what he did with Adam and Eve. He set up an unwinnable challenge. He lied to them, set up an unwinnable challenge, and then when they failed that unwinnable challenge, he punished them for it. A good God does not set up an unwinnable challenge and then punish you for failing said unwinnable challenge.
Never forget,
Full stop.
It's not a good God. In Jovan's opinion, not a good God.
Nope, in the clear facts I just laid out.
I feel remiss to not bring you back down to earth. Like, there are so many people listening to you that even though you have all this science and all this logic, that no one could ever prove you wrong, there's still so many people that are just going to tell you you're just one data point. That's just one viewpoint.
God,
it's not
did God know what would happen when he created Lucifer? Yes or no?
Actually, it's all assumed. We're putting.
Is God all powerful according to the Bible? Yes or no?
Yeah, the Bible says he's all powerful.
Great.
Yes.
If God is all powerful, does that mean he's all seeing and all knowing?
Even the Bible says he's all seeing and all knowing. Yes.
Great.
I mean,
if he's all seeing and all knowing, then we know that there, and per the Bible, was there a time before the angels? Yes or no?
Yeah, it must have been. It must have been something.
So if God can see everything, if God can see everything and he knows everything, and there was a time before angels, then God knew when creating the angels that Lucifer would betray him. Yes or no?
It's not said in the Bible that he knew it, but the puzzle pieces.
Does he know everything?
Oh my gosh, Jovan, just
is he all knowing? Is he all knowing? Is he all knowing, Jared? Jared, is he all knowing?
The Bible says he's all knowing. Yes.
Then it doesn't have to say in the Bible everything that he knows. It doesn't have to say in the Bible that he knew Lucifer would betray him, because it already establishes that he knows everything. So is Lucifer betraying him a part of everything?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So God knew before he created Lucifer that Lucifer would betray him. If God didn't want Lucifer to betray him, could he have just not made Lucifer?
Thank you for proving my free will, though. Thank you for proving that angels had free will.
Jared, I don't know if stupidity runs in your family, but it definitely has run the course of this call. Fucking Christ. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Please consider liking and subscribing for your daily dose of debates. I post new videos daily, so make sure to hit that notification button so you know when a new one drops. Also, shout out to my YouTube members. Membership starts at $2.99 and helps me to continue making content for all of you. Also, shout out to my Tier 4 members, Gib5500, Ovaltine, Sylvia Snow, Bamji, Kelsey K, Kelsey Dooley, Jake Gorshender, Marceline, Matthew Holloway, Kazim, Vampy, and Yemye. Thank you, members, for your support.